Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin from Florals.com and today I have another 6x6 video for you. So in this series I am showing you how I use my 6x6 paper pads in fun ways so I can get rid of them and buy new ones. So I'm using two paper pads by Basic Gray today. One is the Granola collection and the other one's the Wisteria collection. Both very old, but I need to use them, so I'm using those today. The first step I'm doing on this layout is some stitching. So I'm going to pierce a bunch of letters and then I'm going to stitch them up. This is an Amy Tangerine pierce set, and then I'll be just using some regular embroidery floss to stitch them up. I bought my embroidery floss at Joann's with a 50% off coupon, and it's great so far. I've only used the black, but it's great. So I'm going to come back to the papers later, but when I do, I will be cutting them into 1 3/4 inch squares and then those squares into triangles. So you'll see me do a few examples of that, but just so you know the sizes, 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 inches, and then you just cut the triangles in half. It might be faster for you to cut the triangles in half using scissors instead of your cutter, but I use my cutter because I don't trust myself with scissors because my lines are never straight. So I'm just going to show you some more of the stitching. This photo for this layout is actually a photo of me in front of the lake that we were visiting at the nature center, and I just really like this photo. And then I've been obsessed with this song lately, which is from Beauty and the Beast, and the new one's coming out soon, and I just wanted to use that as my title because it was fitting with the photo, and you'll see in the end how it all comes together. But if you go over to my blog, you'll hear me say that this is my favorite layout that I've done in a while. It's very busy, but in a good way, and then there's a lot of different fonts, which I love mixing fonts. And yeah, so we're going to get to the paper cutting now. So I used a bunch of sheets from, again, the Basic Gray Wisteria collection and the Basic Gray Granola collection. I wanted some light and dark pattern papers to get a variety of tones. And I will change up the layout of these because I do place them now, but I'll glue them down in different spots later. But you can see me just cutting all the squares in half to make perfect triangles, and I'll be pairing those up later to make sort of like a quilt texture sort of background. Oh, and my background paper that I stitched on is from the Echo Park Reflections collection, which is designed by Lori Whitlock, so in case you wanted to know where that was from. And also for like my quilt design, I'll be rotating the way the diagonal goes in between the triangles, so it's not the same diagonal every time, which you'll be able to see more closely in the pictures at the end of this video or over on my blog post, which is linked down below. So I'm just going to lay a bunch of these out and I'll change it all later. Because right now I don't like how it just goes around the edge, but you'll see it works out a lot later. And then that's a picture of me in front of the lake. So now I'm going to work on my title some more. I have these Webster Pages printed passport collection tiny block stickers, and I'm going to put the I want and in the for that font. And then I have these Freckled Fawn puffy stickers. And I love these puffy stickers, but the one thing I don't like about them is they don't stick on their own, so I do have to glue them down later, but that's okay. Lastly, I'm going to use some black thickers. They're foam thickers, and for the life of me I can't remember the font. But I bought these ones at Tuesday Morning, so... Oh no, I didn't. I bought these from theinkroad.com. So the whole title says, I want adventure in the great wide somewhere, which is a quote from Belle from Beauty and the Beast in one of her songs. So I just really wanted to use that. And I'll also be using a ton of these new Project Life rub-ons. Now I go through phases with rub-ons, like I like them, I just don't buy them a lot. These ones were given to me in a rack, and they're beautiful gold colors, so I was like, well, I gotta use them because they're gorgeous. So I'll be using, I believe, at least 4 rub-ons from that pack on this layout. I'm using these scrap pieces of paper from the squares that I cut out to mount my photo. I use this light cream colored floral pattern, and then I'll also be using a light floral pattern behind that. So we just jumped ahead a little bit here, but what I've done is I've pulled out some trim that I want to use, a flare that says today, also from that rack, and then I'm looking at my rub-ons again. So I'm just going through everything that I have. I'm not pleased with how it's looking right now, but I will change it. So I have the layers behind my photo, and I know I want some foam behind my photo. So I grabbed some of that, get it all ready. I'll glue that on off camera, I believe. But like I said in previous videos, if you're using fun foam, usually you have to use ATG glue or some sort of tape adhesive and liquid glue because foam is very particular. At least my foam is, which is from the dollar store. Very particular. I'll also be using a Pretty Little Studio label there that I just cut out. And now I'm starting to glue everything down. So the squares along the bottom are staying the same. Those ones are fine. They'll go straight across. But I will change some of the ones on the side, which you'll see in a second. I tried to speed this up as much as possible, but I'm using my T-square ruler there to give it some actual straightness, because if I did it freehand they would not have been straight. So I'm going to start messing with these ones, and I don't like how they go all the way across, and I'm like trying to play with the title. I didn't like that much because then there was too much space beneath the somewhere, but what I do end up liking is I'll play with the white font and give that some different dimension. So I'll end up with sort of a stair step of these squares. Again, this is a great way to use up paper pads, and you can use whatever size squares you want. I just thought 1 3/4 was small enough so it wasn't super distracting. Plus I wanted this big title and it evens it out quite nicely. So I gave the freckled font stickers a nice curve to them instead of a straight line across to add more interest and to make room for this rub-on. And now I'm going to create an embellishment by using this Scraptastic exclusive stamp set that I got as a gift. I believe it says Grateful Today, something like that. And I'm stamping it on the cream paper that I used on the squares here, so it's the same exact paper. And I'll be punching that out with a 1 3/4 inch circle punch because it's the perfect size. And my punch is by McGill, in case you're wondering. And shortly I'll start gluing everything down and doing all the rub-ons. So to keep with the dimensional theme that I have with my photo area, I'm going to add some under this little bit here. Again, using the same fun foam because it's perfect. So I'm going to create a small cluster in the bottom left, which you'll see in a little bit. But I'm going to take care of my rub-ons first. And again, these rub-ons are the Project Life brand, in case you want to buy them yourself. And they're like a copper gold. They're not perfectly gold, but they're still a beautiful color. I wouldn't be able to describe it to you if I tried, even though I did just try. So I'm getting everything down. And this trim is from Michaels. I've used it on like 3 layouts recently, but it's just the perfect thing to add on these layouts for a little bit of extra frill without adding a ton of bulk. So I'm just going to slip that under my photo here. And then I'm going to put this tag and this flare there. I'm not sure where the flare is from. It might be from a Studio Calico kit. But I'm going to work on my cluster in the bottom left. I'll be cutting out a butter colored tag, or label rather, from Pretty Little Studio. And then I'll also use another Pretty Little Studio label in a copper gold to match the rub-ons. So that'll all layer down there in the left, and then I'll have the cluster next to my photo. Now since this layout is so busy, I didn't want a lot of embellishments, which you'll see I don't have that many. But to add more interest, I will add some Tim Holtz word stickers, which you'll see in a second, because those are my absolute favorite. I'm using the black ones because I thought they gave it contrast compared to the black lettering on the left, and I wanted to bring that into the right. So I'm using 3 of the phrases. You can see those in the close-up photo at the end in case you're wondering which ones I put on this layout. But I really like the way it turned out, and I'll glue those down with my fine line bottle and adhesive again. So one last rub-on that two last rub-ons that I do one on top of my photo, which honestly, rub-ons on top of photos is one of my favorite things. This is just like a little gold bookmark sort of looking rub-on. You can see it over on my blog in case you don't understand what I'm saying or trying to describe, because I do have photos of that for sure. And then I'll do 1 heart in the top right dark gray corner, because I wanted a lot of these rub-ons used because it brings it all together sort of. But that pretty much finishes up this layout, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll catch you guys next time.